Hello everybody and welcome to Josh's Magic Plays Games. We are playing Planet Zoo today and we are going to be doing the career mode. So yeah, what we're going to do, we're not going to do any time lapses or anything. We're going to play it all the way through. So each level is going to be split into 3 videos. Each of the videos will be released at the same time. So you're going to have the bronze career, you're going to have the silver and the gold. So if everyone is ready, we are going to start our first zoo. So let's go to the career.
Sorry about that. I have a habit of slipping back into the Planko language. It's good to finally meet you in person. I'm Bernard, although I insist you call me Bernie. The only person who calls me Bernard is my wife. And even then, only when I've tracked elephant dung into the carpets. As you know, I own several zoos, but I always like to show people the ropes here at my home. This is the first zoo I ever opened, and a source of great pride for me. And prize, thanks to a lion breeding program we ran in the 80s. But we're in the middle of a big renovation, and that's where you come in. Sadly, our old contractor had to retire after developing a fur allergy. Poor devil kept sneezing his dentures into the lion habitat. So, it's up to you to finish everything off. Don't worry, though. I'm not completely throwing you in at the deep end. My head keeper, Nancy Jones, will be lending a helping hand. Oh, she's a hard worker, and she'll expect you to be too. But I'm sure you'll get along like a house on fire, or even better, one that isn't on fire. Less shouting that way.
Hello there. From that rosy, fresh face of yours, I'm guessing you're Bernie's new hire. Good. Now, I hope you're ready to ditch your diploma because we're about to get really hands-on. But before we begin the real work, how about we familiarize you with the zoo by learning how to fly around it and visiting some of our beautiful animals. We'll start by popping over and having a look-see at the grizzly bears in their habitat.
Right, so we need to go to the grizzly bear habitat first, so it is just down here. There we go.
Did you know that grizzly bears, also known as Ursus arctos horribilis, can hibernate for up to 7 months a year? Oh, but then again, given the chance, I think a lot of people would do that too.
Right now we need...
Select one of the bears and you'll bring up its information panel.
Go for the swimming one.
This is where you can find out all kinds of information about your animal. The most important thing being its overall welfare. You'll learn more about animal welfare today as we go through your objectives. But for now, let's enjoy this magnificent animal. Why don't you select the camera at the bottom of its information panel?
Okay. It's swimming.
See now, this is a fantastic way to get a close look at your animals.
Yeah.
You can also get this view of an animal by simply double-clicking on it.
Okay, it doesn't have a head. How do I find a head?
Ready? Let's pop over to the other side of the zoo and take a look at the lions. I've marked their location for you to find.
Alright, but I'm not ready yet, Nancy, because I can't see a head. How do I... Oh, there it is. Hello. That's nice, isn't it? Right, so locate the West African lion habitat. So let's get out of here. And what we're going to do, we're going to zoom out and we're going to find the West African lion habitat, which is all the way over here. Okay, what do you want us to do now?
Panthera leo leo, or the West African lion to you and me. lions are the most social of the big cats, and there can be as many as 40 lions in a pride. Although prides
Hello.
of that size are pretty rare. As Bernie would say, those lions are awesome, which is precisely why I handle training instead these days. Anyway, how about we get started on those objectives? Come on, let's head over to an empty habitat and see what needs doing there.
Okay, empty habitat. So let's leave that camera. Right, empty habitat. Where is one of they? It's down here. Okay, what do you want us to do?
It's a lovely space for animals, but it's missing a certain something. Well, two somethings. Warthogs. So I'd like you to adopt a pair of them. To adopt animals, we need to open the animal market, which is in the animal trading section.
Okay, so down here at animal trading.
There we are, a pair of perfectly splendid warthogs for our zoo. Just click on them and select Adopt from the side menu. Normally the animal exchange would be full of animals, but I've emptied out the market while you learn how it works. The last thing I need is you accidentally ordering a dozen elephants.
That'd be nice having a dozen elephants.
When you adopt an animal, it's automatically placed in the trade centre, where they're held until you're ready to move them into their habitat, which, as it happens, you are. So how about you move them into their new home?
Okay.
When you ask for an animal to be moved into a habitat, your caretakers will go to the trade centre, collect your animal, and deliver them to your selected habitat. I've marked the trade centre's location, so let's go and watch the caretakers in action.
Okay. Is that one?
As you can see, those caretakers don't hang about. They'll move those animals to their destination as fast as possible. Of course, normally we'd have to place the animals into quarantine before moving them into a habitat, but I am assured by a person of good standing that these warthogs are in the very rudest of health. Right, let's get the warthog's habitat finished up so we can keep them nice.
Oh, look at them.
You see, each animal in the zoo has an overall welfare statistic, basically how happy they are. And that overall welfare statistic is itself comprised of 4 different areas: nutrition, social health, habitat, and enrichment. Luckily, if you select an animal, you'll bring up their animal welfare information panel, which we saw earlier, where
Okay.
you can see how they're doing. That way, you'll know exactly what areas need to be addressed. Don't worry if that's a lot to remember. You can always check the Zoopedia for more information. Let's start by making sure we're taking care of the warthog's nutrition welfare. To do this, we'll need to place a food station and a drinking station. Now,
Right, how do we do
each
that?
animal requires a different type of feeding
It's
station.
a feeding and
for the
water
warthogs,
station.
it's a small feeding trough. So let's add one of those and a water bowl.
Okay, so I think we should place that right at the front here so all the people can see, and a water bowl just over here.
Animals also require stimulation to keep them happy. Let's add a lovely mud bath for the warthogs to roll around in.
Mud bath.
That bath will count towards their enrichment welfare, specifically their toy enrichment welfare.
Right, so if we try and place that just at the front here so everyone can see it.
Nice work. You've got a knack for this, I see. Now, our contractor had to leave in a hurry, so this place is in a feral state. Unfinished thingamajigs and whatsits all over the shop. But the first thing we need to finish is the ostrich habitat. It's over near the hippos.
Right, sorry, Pumba, but we're gonna have to go to the ostrich habitat. Oh, but look at it, it's in the mud bath. Oh, that's actually quite cute. Right, ostrich habitat, where are you? Right, so let's get rid of this one. Right, where is the ostrich habitat? Down here. Okay.
Oh, before we actually start building our ostrich habitat, let's pause the game. Just click the pause button in the bottom right corner.
It's down there, okay?
That's more like it. A quick break. Sometimes it's a good idea to pause the game whilst you're doing something which requires your concentration, because it'll stop the zoo spinning out of control while you're looking the other way. Let's keep the game paused while we get this ostrich habitat built.
Alright, Nancy.
Okay. Job number 1 here is to add a habitat gate before we complete the barrier. Every habitat needs a habitat gate. After all, how else would the keepers get in and out? Just make sure it's hooked up to the path so the keepers can reach it.
Okay, right, so place a habitat gate. So we need to go into barriers and habitat gate. I'm guessing it's going to go in this little box here. So we'll just connect that up there.
Right, let's complete the perimeter barrier so we can adopt us some ostriches. I've marked out an area for you to use, so I'd like you to finish off the perimeter using the brick barrier.
Ooh. Okay, so there. And we're going to click there. And then we'll go from this side. And connect that up.
Good work.
Thanks.
Remember, before you can place animals in any habitat, it has to have a full loop of connected barrier. Now, you've probably noticed that guests can't actually see into this habitat at the moment.
No.
At least not without a stepladder. But seeing as they're banned, I'd like you to select a piece of barrier and swap out the brick for a glass barrier so the guests can see in.
Okay, right, so got glass
There we
there.
go. Adding in more windows gives guests even more opportunities to see the animals in a habitat. It's always best to make sure the guests can get a good view into a habitat from the path they're walking on.
Okay.
Because it makes them happy. And because this would be a pretty terrible zoo if they couldn't. The last thing we need to do is to add a donation box. You see, when guests enjoy the view of an animal, they'll make a donation. Just make sure you put them in easy to reach places like near a viewing point. Donation boxes are one of the main sources of income for the zoo, so make sure you remember them.
Okay, so they're in facilities and donation box just down there. Right, so let's how many? Just the one?
Now, before we adopt
Yeah,
our ostriches,
okay.
you should click the play button. After all, if the game's paused, then so are our caretakers, which will make it a bit tricky for them to deliver the ostriches, eh?
So we'll just click the play
By the
button
way,
there.
As well as pausing the game, you can speed the game up by clicking on the fast forward button. It'll run everything at 2 times and 5 times faster. It can be useful, especially if you're waiting for money to accumulate or for animals to be delivered to your habitat. Personally, I use it when I'm waiting for a brew to finish. Alright, you've finished the habitat, so it's high time we adopted those ostriches, don't you think?
Yes.
Let's get 4 of them in here.
Okay, so trade in. And we do have 4 here, so 1, 2, 3, and 4. We'll go to the storage center, trade center, and we'll click all of those, send them to the zoo.
While we wait for
Place
them
them
to be
in.
collected by the caretakers and brought to the habitat, you should get it ready for them. Add a suitable feeding station, water station, and an appropriate food enrichment item.
Fantastic.
It's often best to place things like enrichments and feeding stations near to the habitat perimeter so guests can get a really good view of the animals.
Right, so there's the feeding, there's the water. Oh, that was obstructed. Right, place it there. And there's the toy enrichment.
Oh, good to see the ostriches have somewhere they can really stretch their legs. Did you know they can actually run at 43 miles per hour? Oh, heaven forbid they ever escape. The speed camera fines alone would bankrupt us.
So yeah, we have complete.
Well, Bernie
Carry on.
certainly seems impressed. Did he do his speed camera joke? Every time we get an ostrich. So, now we've made the ostriches' lives a bit better, let's do the same for the keepers, shall we? To make it easier for the keepers to feed the ostriches and hippos, we should build a new keeper hut. Keeper huts are where the keepers prepare the food for animals, so they should be placed near to the habitats to make sure the keepers don't waste their time walking when they should be looking after the animals.
Thanks for that, Nancy. Right, so like I have just said, we have completed the first star. It is the bronze star on the first ever mission. So what we're going to do, we're going to leave the video here. On the next one, we will be completing the second star. So it is it from me, Josh's Magic Plays Games, and we'll see you in the next one very shortly. Goodbye, guys.